Last week we did a little montage of our best bits from Euro 2024. On this episode of The Rest is Football, we're going to do our best bits from last season. There are some Gaza stories, Balotelli stories, Brian Clough tales, and the funniest moments from last season. Hope you enjoy it. Hi, I'm Gary Lineker, and this is The Rest is Football. This time, a special episode on a former teammate of Micah's who's never been far from controversy. We are talking about Mario Balotelli. And Micah, the obvious first question is, what was he actually really like as a bloke?
He had so much ability.
Yeah. It's quite funny, though, some of the things he did.
Yeah, it's good for us, the stories. I mean,
You weren't there when he blew the bathroom up, were you? Or wherever he blew up?
Fireworks in the house.
Was it?
So
We've all done that, though, haven't we, to be honest?
No, hold on. Let's talk about this because there's a story going round.
Yeah.
And yes, he burnt down his house. That is actually a true story. That's not fake, that's true. But no one talks about the story when he was at my house, letting off fireworks in my house.
Oh, it's yours when
No. This is what I'm trying to say, Gary. This is what I mean. So he did his own house, burnt it down, but then comes to my house and wants to do the exact same thing.
On the same day?
I don't know if it was the same day. But basically chasing around my house with fireworks.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
And did he?
He didn't burn it down.
What were they? Like sparklers? Rockets? Like what?
No, it wasn't sparklers.
So Roman candles?
What are Roman candles in them ones?
Yeah.
Them
That's
spinning
it,
things.
on the spinning things.
What are we talking about? Them ones. What are they called? Rockets?
Bangers. Bangers and mash. Bang.
We're talking about them ones.
Really?
Yeah.
So when he was lighting them, were you not saying, hang on a minute, Mario?
What do you think I was saying? Fuck off, Mario.
Yeah.
Basically.
Not the first time we've had bangers in your house, is it?
Oh,
a couple of bangers.
Oh, dearie me.
2007 qualifiers. England versus Croatia.
Oh, crikey.
All we need to do is draw the game and we go into the Euros. It's as simple as that. Croatia at home.
Goalkeeping error.
Scott Carson. And the team we had that day, I don't think we had any Rio, any John Terry. It was like a mixed bag team. Beckham was on the bench. It was all over the place. But we thought we could get a draw.
That was the Brolly game, wasn't it?
Wally with the Brolly. McLaren.
Yeah.
It was, that was terrible. I think my player rating after that game at best was a 2.
You were that good, right?
But it was a 2, but I blame Scott Carson. I blame him. I'm sorry. He's at Man City now, taking all the accolades, getting the treble winners, and all the medal after medal, and he cost me £1 million. It cost me £1 million sterling, not euros, not pesos, not francs. That was my bonus. Get to the Euros. So much appearances for England. You get more money on your contract for Man City.
Did you never play for England again?
I played, but I was a bit part player. As soon as Capello came in, yeah, I was one of the players who we...
You'd only have blown it in Ibiza, Micah.
But it would have been great.
When I was at Barcelona, actually, in the last season at Barcelona, I was 29 going on 30. And I'd been playing on the wing all that season with Johan Cruyff, and I decided I had to leave, really, at the end of the season, but I didn't know where I was going. And we were on end of season tour with England, playing, I think it was in Denmark, and we had a friendly game there. And I always roomed with Peter Shilton, and the telephone went, and I was actually in the bathroom. I was sitting on the loo, And I heard Peter Shilton answer the phone. And now Schultz was an incredibly confident guy with everybody. But I thought I could hear him chattering away. And I thought, that doesn't sound like Schultz. He sounds like he's a little bit nervous. He's a bit in awe of whoever's on the phone. So I heard him say, hang on a minute, he's on the loo. So he shouted me. And I went, I'll be there in a minute. So I did what I had to do. I got up. And I came in, and Peter Shilton covered the mouthpiece of the phone, and he went, "It's Brian Clough." And I thought, oh, shit. So I walked over, picked the phone up, and he went, "Young man, have you washed your hands?" So forgive the impression. So I said, yes, I have, Mr. Clough. He went, "Call me Brian." I said, okay. He went, "Tell me, are you signed, sealed and delivered?" I said, well, no, actually, I'm quite open-minded as to where I go. I said, I've got to leave now. I said, I've got some interest from different parts, but nothing yet finalised. He went, "Would you consider coming back to England?" I said, well, yes. I mean, that's a possibility as well. There is interest. "Would you consider coming to Nottingham Forest?" I went, "Not really, no, Brian." "Why not?" I said, well, to be perfectly honest, Brian, I said, if I come back to England, and this came out really, it didn't come out how I wanted it. I said, if I come back to England, I want to come back to one of the big clubs.
Oh, dear.
And Peter Shilton buried his head in the pillow at this point. And Brian Clough went, "Nottingham Forest is a big club. There's only Liverpool won more than us in the last 10 years, young man." I said, "No, I understand what you're saying." I said, but when I talk, I'm talking about the big clubs with the big crowds, and I was just getting myself in a bigger pickle. And I said, "And I'm from Leicester." I said, "It's down the road." I said, Forest is really difficult, if you understand me. He went, "No, I don't. Call me Mr. Clough," and banged the phone down. That's brilliant. True story.
My only experience with Brian Clough was, Micah won't remember the old Zenith Data Systems Cup final, Southampton v Forest.
Is that as big as the Tourmore?
No, not quite as big. We got beaten that as well. I was standing in the tunnel. I was, 18-year-old boy, just got in a year or so into the Southampton first team. We're standing in the tunnel, ready to come out at Wembley. And I feels this almighty fucking... someone comes right into the back of me, and I look around. It's him. It's Brian Clough is coming, and he's booted me. He's just booted me in the tunnel.
he was well known for doing that.
Honestly, he just come straight into the back of my calves, and he went, "You're a danger man. I want to take you out." I thought, what on earth is going on? I'm standing at Wembley, and their manager comes into the back of me.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
I think my impression was better than yours.
It was, yeah.
And also, he didn't. The only other time apart from when I played in the cup final, but the one time I did meet him, I was at an airport at Heathrow. I was meeting my first wife, Michelle. And weirdly, Brian Clough came out while I was waiting there, and he spotted me, and he came over and he went, "You're always smiling. I like that, young man." And then he gave me a kiss, full on the lips.
Was it a good kiss?
It was, well, no tongs were involved, Micah, thankfully. But it was the weirdest thing. What a guy, what a character. I used to have fallouts with Gazza all the time.
Oh.
Because he was brilliant, and I love Gazza to bits, and I always will. But sometimes as a striker, he was frustrating because he'd beat three men, and then the only time he'd ever give you the ball really was if you had no choice but to give him straight back, which was a sign of how good he was in many ways. But perhaps the most amusing one was that we played at Main Road. Yeah, that's Manchester City's old ground. I don't know whether you know that, Micah. And we were playing a game there for Spurs, and I used to, part of my pre-match routine. It's another bizarre. This was not a superstition. This was because I was always a bit stiff in the legs and stuff. I used to have a little hot bath, like just for 2 minutes, hot water, stretch my hamstrings, get out, get ready, go out, warm up, come back. So obviously at some grounds they had little small baths, and some of them they had in those days with those big communal ones which you'd all get in after the game, which strikes me as bizarre really. But anyway, so on the grounds that had big baths, the first thing I did when I got to a ground was look to see what the bath situation was. So at Main Road, it was a big one. So I put it on hot water, filled it up, get in, stand there, in the big ones you just stand there, did a few stretches, thighs, hamstrings, calves and all that.
Are you bolloco at this time, or you got your slips on here? Are you naked?
No, I'm bolloco. I've never heard that phrase, but I think you mean bollock naked.
Yeah, bolloco.
I'm not going to go in there in my shorts, am I? They're going to get soggy. So anyway, I stretched for 2 minutes, and Gazza walks into the and he goes, "Hey, you're always doing that." It's like, I'm not going to try and do a Geordie accent here, Al, don't worry. Or maybe I will. And he says, "You always do that. Why? Why'd you do it?" I said, "Well, I'm always a bit stiff, and I just a quick stretch, and it just makes me feel better before I warm up." He went, "I might try it." I went, "Yeah, do it." I said, "Just a couple of minutes, quick stretch, bosh, out you get." So I get out, he jumps in. I go out, get my kit on, go out onto the pitch. I do 15, 20 minutes of a warm-up and came back in, put my shin pads on. Last thing I always do is have a pee before you play. So I go back into the bathroom and I look in, and Gazza is still in the bath. He's been in there for 20 minutes. He's got the water up to his neck like this, and it's boiling hot, and his face looked like a strawberry. I went, "Oh, for fuck's sake, don't tell me you've been in there since I left." He went, "Why, eh? It's great." So I went, "Oh, for Christ's sake." So we go out onto the pitch, right? So we play in the first half. We're all over the shop, and he's having one, and he's going, "Oi, Links, what have you done? What have you done to me? I'm all giddy, like. I'm all giddy." And honestly, this is true. So we get in at half time. I think we're 2 down or something. And we sit down in the dressing room, and Terry Venables has gone, "Gazza, what's the matter with you?" He went, "It's Lineker's fault. He told me to have a bath and I'm all dizzy and I can't eat." Absolute shambles. That was, it really was, yeah. Right, Scott Simmons, he's asking, who is the one player from your generation you wish you had the chance to play with but didn't? Yeah, I would probably say Maradona. I did play with him in a game I've talked about, but it was a kind of friendly game, and it was one of those rest of the world teams against an English football league, so that doesn't count. But to play with him, I played against him obviously in the Hand of God goal and 1 or 2 other games when we played against Argentina. But because he was just up there with the greatest of all time. For me, it's him and Messi. They're very similar in so many different ways. But he was just unbelievable. He did stuff, and even when you're on the pitch playing against him, you just go, how? How can you do that? Imagine playing with him, because he was also, like Messi, unselfish. He'd slip you through, and God, you score so many goals. You, Alan?
Probably played against them both. Ronaldo.
Brazilian Ronaldo.
Oh. I'd argue he might have been better than Maradona.
Ooh,
If it wasn't for the injuries.
Well, yeah, I'm not sure, but
I think
he was unbelievable.
I
think as a 9, I think he's probably.
He was.
I think I agree with you. As a 9, the best.
The injuries.
Oh, 9.
Yeah, and Rooney.
Really?
Rooney was unbelievable.
Did you never play with?
No.
You never?
Played against him a few times, but not.
Didn't cross over.
Not with him. He was an unbelievable player. So yeah, those 2.
Yeah. High praise. Micah?
I'd probably have to go Messi.
Yeah, played against him, yeah?
No, I never played against. I played against Ronaldo, but never against Messi. It's just.
Yeah,
he's a year above me.
Yeah.
He's a year above me. Yeah. Same, born 24th of June.
Yeah. What can you say about
that? I can't add to what. Even when the game against, he's gone over to MLS. He scores in his first game in the last minute of the game. We're just written on the stars for him, wasn't it? It's just Messi. I think he's the best ever.
Yeah, I wouldn't disagree on that. From Johnny Thompson, what was the strangest injury you or a teammate picked up during your careers? One of the lads in our team recently stubbed his toe in his kitchen. Turns out it's fractured and he's now out for around 6 weeks.
I have, but it's quite sexual. It's not really for this pod. It's not really for this pod.
It's okay. It's mostly adults listening. What do you mean? No, you can't leave it at that. Come on, Micah.
So...
It's what?
So basically,
This is, I can see it's going viral. It's going viral already.
It's not, but obviously...
You got a virus. Oh, dear.
This is the thing is, you can't go into detail, but basically, I was having... Yes, I was having something
fun.
I was having fun. Let's put it like that.
Yeah.
And as I was having fun, I slipped off the bed and stretched my leg and did my hamstring. So I rolled over. But the thing is though, I was totally fine in training. So when I go back to training and the physio have asked me, what have you done and whatnot? And I just said, no, I've just got some pain down my back. I felt it in the game, but I didn't really want to say nothing. But it was all just because of that moment. But it was, they don't know the truth until now, to be honest.
Brilliant. I'll tell you what I'd love to go to. And I've been to the ground, Boca Juniors River Plate.
I've heard it's meant to be chaos.
Buenos Aires derby in Argentina. Yeah. I've been there when I was filming with Diego, and it was.
Fucking hell! You've dropped some names on this one, haven't you? By the way,
I've been around a long time, Alan. At the Bombonera,
Diego,
the Bombonera
Ronaldo,
Stadium. Honestly, when we went that day with Diego, he was. We were filming him for 3 days, doing a documentary with him, and he was brilliant. But his life was just incredible. It was madness everywhere. Hundreds of people. It was. Have you seen Life of Brian, the sketch where they're all following the Messiah, or everyone follows him everywhere? This is the real Messiah. I should know. I followed a few, and all that kind of stuff. Comedy, obviously, but his life was sort of like that. People everywhere they went, it was like he was treated like a god, and he was. I mean, he was quite nuts anyway. Diego, a lot of fun, and we went to watch the game at the Bombonera. It wasn't the derby against River Plate, but it was obviously Boca Juniors, and the atmosphere was incredible. They were jumping up and down and singing and stuff, and he was joining in from he's got a little box there where he watched the game, and he was leaning so far over the balcony that his daughter was holding on to him so he wouldn't fall off. And yeah, he was mad. So I would say probably that one.
I'm in the England squad now, aren't I? I'm Big Meeks. I've arrived, you know? I'm at England. I'm at the top of my game.
Please tell me you
18.
came into the dressing room first day and you arrived and you went, Big Meeks is here.
I've arrived. You know, similar to what Bellingham does, where he just sort of holds his hands up.
I like Bellingham without the ability.
So anyway, we're at England now. So again, going to England, it was sort of like, do you remember the Brentford rejects? It was like the rejects. So you had all your top, you had Man U, Chelsea, Liverpool, Arsenal, whatever. And then you had like Man City, Everton, Watford. So me, Jolien, Lescott, Ashley Young, we're all together. So because I'm in England now, I feel like I'm like one of the guys, you know, Gerrard is my mate, and Lampard, or whatever it is. So we finished international break now. We're playing Chelsea away. Stamford Bridge, horrible place to go. We used to get tonked there all the time. So we're in the tunnel now. You know, you come down in the tunnel, you're lining up, and you say hello. I think I said hello to Joe Cole and this, that. Trying to say hello to Lampard. He only goes and blanks me.
What? Blanks Big Meeks?
He absolutely blanks me. So I'm thinking, is it game face? Is it whatnot or whatever? So the pitch, as we're going out to the pitch now, I'm thinking, has he just blanked me? It was only last week we was together in England camp. I thought we was mates. So now I'm in my own head, aren't I? I'm in my own head. I'm thinking, I'm gonna smash him the first chance I get. Honestly, the highlights in that game, it was about 6 or 7-0 to Chelsea. I'm at fault for at least 5 of the goals. There was one instance, I'm telling you, there's one instance where he gets the ball. I'm in my head. I'm looking at him. You know, like you're on the pitch and you're following someone around where he's going to be. When he comes into my zone, I'm going to do him this, that, and the other. He plays outside of the football, and I think I've got it, but he goes blindside me or whatnot. And Drogba just finishes it off. And
he got into your head,
Micah. It gets even better because it goes to match of the day. And I'm thinking, oh my God, I'm going to absolutely get killed by you two, these two Herberts who I'm working with now. And luckily, you went for Javi Garrido, the left back, started talking about his positioning, this, that, and the other. So I got away with it.
Gary, can you remember that night? Honestly, when we were in Match of the Day, we said that this kid is shit. This youngster at City, he's played for England. How on earth? We can't attack him on Match of the Day.
Alan was going to put you away, but I said to him, let's leave him alone. Let's go easy on him, because one day I've got a feeling we'll be doing a podcast together.
So what had happened after the end of the game, Micah?
Did you confront him?
So after the game and whatnot, it's come on. You're embarrassed, are you? Because it's one of those, you two won't feel it as a strike. Maybe say you going through and you should score and you should win the game. It's similar to that, but I would say it's a little bit worse because you've cost your team, you know? So afterwards, I see him again. We're back in England camp now. We're back there now. I'm not thinking, how do I approach this, you know? Like, I'm big Meeks, but in England camp, I'm little Meeks, you know? I can't throw my weight around. And we was in the physio room, and basically, he shook my hand. He said, I'm one of the good guys, you know? I was just in the zone. I'm pretty shy. So if it come across arrogant, I apologise. I said, you could have told me that in the game.
I've got something here, Micah. I've just been sent something by one of our producers, and it's a picture here. I don't know whether you can see it. I'll hold it up there. There you go. Look, that's a picture with Frank Lampard looking very angrily at a young Micah, a young Big Meeks.
He was calling all sorts of C words.
This kid.
He was like, who is this? This little. It was good times, but it was bad times at the same time.
Yeah. Loving the podcast. Thank you very much. From over here in the Netherlands. What is the funniest thing an opposition player has said to you three on the field during a game?
Oh, Roy Keane said to me he was going to knock me out once.
Well, you do surprise me. And did he?
Come on.
I think I'd back you against him, Al. Even now. I think people would pay to see that.
I wouldn't.
You know, you get all these kind of celebrity fights now. Get you two of you in UFC or boxing gloves. I think
too old for that shit, guys.
always too old for that shit.
You must have got hammered off other players, Micah.
No one was messing with Big Meeks on the pitch.
They'd be terrified to take you on, wouldn't they?
Come on, they were terrified of me. And the only stories encounters I had was Ashley Williams, which I've already told, and the Clint Dempsey. You remember the Clint Dempsey story that I told? Go on. Back in the days, he was at Fulham. I was at Man City, and he was playing sort of left wing. I was playing right back at the time, and I kept winning the ball. I was quite small then, but I had a great leap. And I kept winning the ball over him, jumping over him. And he was just getting frustrated. And one of the times I've won the ball and he's like, shrugged me like, what you doing? So me being from Chapeltown, you know what I mean? Big up Chapeltown, CPT Leeds, you know what I mean? I wasn't having that. I wasn't had no chance I was having that. So I was going, F off, and he's going back and forth. Then he just turns around back to me and goes, you don't know where I'm from, dog. I'm just like, what are you even on about? So the next time I seen him, so it goes on. So, you know, like with footballers, like it keeps bubbling away, don't you? You're always like, okay, next time I see him, he's getting it. So around the time, people are doing a little bit of research and whatnot, this, that, and the other, found out that he's a pretend rapper. So like artist rapper. So the next time I see you, I said, fuck me. You can't even fucking rap, you fucking shit. You can't play football. And I just laid it to him. I said, who the fuck do you think you are, Eminem? I was calling him Slim Shady throughout the whole of the game, and he was biting.
What was his rapper's name?
I need to get it.
The Dempster Truck.
I should have known. But fast forward 10 years, it's weird because now I work with him at CBS and he's like one of the nicest guys ever. But it was just that moment of madness. So we've come full circle and now we're mates, yeah.
What about the Rome derby, Roma-Lazio? Jose got sent off yet again, I think for the second time in just 4 days. Even by his standards, that's quite something.
We shouldn't laugh.
He's been sent off more times than any other manager, I think, in Serie A history since he's been there.
I don't think anyone can not ever accuse Jose of being passionate.
No.
I do like him and I do love his passion and what have you, but sometimes it's like, come on, really?
I love everything that he stands for.
You'd have played it against one of his teams, Michael, wouldn't you?
One of his Chelsea teams, yeah. I would have said. Where else did I think he'd gone by the time I was at... Oh, no, maybe... No, he just left probably United. Or I'd left... I don't think he wasn't in Italy when I was in Fiorentina, but I would say his Chelsea team.
I think the game's beaten him up over the years to some degree. I mean, I used to have I did a little documentary with him. He used to text me all the time. He used to text me after match of the day saying, you know, you guys understand it. It's great. This is this and that and then the other. And we've been going along like that for 2 years. And then something changed. I was asked to present him with the Man of the Year awards at the GQ Awards that they do every year. And they asked me to present the trophy. And I said, yeah, I'll do that. I'll do that for Jose, of course. So then about 4 days before the event, they said, well, Jose's got in touch with us and he doesn't want you to present the trophy to him. He wants someone that's not in football. And I thought, that's a bit odd. But I thought, I'll go along to the event anyway. So I go along to the event. And I went up to Jose and he kind of blanked me like this. And I went up to him and I went, are we okay? Are we okay, Jose? And he went, oh, yeah. So, and then he wasn't okay. And do you know what? He's never been okay since. I don't know. And I do not know to this day whether I said something on Match of the Day, whether it was this. I have no idea. I've genuinely no idea. And I've interviewed him subsequently and he was very cold. And I even remember being at, I did a Champions League game, which they didn't do very well in. And after the game, you know, you go up to the director's bit in Manchester United, and I was having a drink with Ed Woodward, who was the then CEO, or yeah, and he's a neighbour of mine, so I know him really well. So I'm stood there having a drink, and Jose comes up, and you could see him going, and then he just wanders off, and then he sent a text to Ed Woodward, why are you talking to him? Really?
Wow.
And to this
You've upset
day,
him. We need to
this
find out
day,
why.
I don't know what I'm saying.
What have you done? Come on, Gas, you must know.
No, I don't. It was 8. I mean, it's a long time ago this happened, and it's yeah. So I don't know what happened there with Joe saying upset me.
Micah, we need to get on a mission to find out.
Yeah,
Who's close to him? Who's at Rome now? Oh, Abraham. Tammy Abraham. Let me text Tammy.
he's not going to know, is he? What's he gonna
Well, I
say?
had to ask him. I'm going to get him to ask him.
Yeah, I'm wondering. I'd love to know what it is. To be honest, I mean, it doesn't bother me that much, but I would like to know.
You can be very sarcastic, can't you? I mean, on Match of the Day,
yeah,
you probably did one of those openings, didn't you, or something?
Maybe, probably, but you know, it wouldn't. I'm not unkind to people in football, though. I mean, I'll have a laugh and a joke and stuff, but maybe one of my jokes didn't go down. Who knows?
He's upset.
Oh, Jose, come on. I played golf with Michael Jordan. I told you that.
Did you do a story on that? Did you?
So it's going back, quite a long time, 20 odd years ago, just kind of the absolute latter stages of Michael Jordan's career. And John Holmes, my agent, who was on the podcast as a guest, was his company was bought out by Americans, and they were part of the group that looked after Michael Jordan. He got a phone call on a Thursday evening, and it was a summer. That's right. So that's why I wasn't playing football. I wasn't playing then. I wasn't working on football at that particular time of the year. So he calls me and he says, "I've had the office in America on, and Michael Jordan's coming over, and he wants to play golf at Sunningdale." Now, I lived in Sunningdale and I was a member of Sunningdale. And I went, "Oh, wow." He said, "Yeah, but there's 3 of them." I went, "Okay. He'll have to play with a member, though, because at the weekends, there's no way you can get on, or any time at Sunningdale, unless you play with a member." So I said, "But I'm perfectly happy to play with them and host them as my guests." And he got in touch with them, and they said, "That's fantastic. Okay, 9 a.m. Saturday morning." So I went to the club, sorted it out, and I was set to play with Michael Jordan, which was very exciting. I get a phone call, and from John Holmes again. He said, "Slight problem. There's now 6 of them." So I went, "Wow. Okay. I need to find another member." I said, "I need to find another member. I'll call Michael King," who we all called Queenie. He was kind of an old, he'd been around a while, played really good golf, used to be a pro golfer on the tour, exceptional player, and a great guy. So I called Queenie and I went, "This has happened, blah, blah, blah. Can you come along?" "Oh, of course." Right, quite posh, you know. "Of course, yes, I'll be there. Yes, lovely, can't wait." So anyway, so I turn up. I go there early. I get there at 8:30. I walk into the office, and Keith, the pro at the time, he says, "Your friends are all here." I went, "Oh, great." So I walk out on the putting green, and there were like 6 huge guys, all big black guys, all with cigars, all putting on the putting green, all like this. And there were a few members, you can imagine, Sunningdale's like, the quintessential white golf club, and they're all going, "I'm not sure what this is." Anyway, so I walked over, I introduced myself, and it was like Michael Jordan, 2 or 3 other basketball players. Samuel L. Jackson was also one of them. And so anyway, so I organised it all, and we got to the first tee, and we had separated into 2 4-balls, but we were all 8 of us on the first tee. I'm playing with Michael Jordan and Samuel Jackson, blah, 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 and we separate up. And Queenie, he likes a bet, and he's kind of... he's quite a good gambler, let's say. On the golf course, he's quite canny. So he said, "Sir," he said, do we want a little wager on this?" And so Michael Jordan puffs on his cigar and he went, "Sure, man." And Queenie said, "Okay." He said, "So how much would you like to play for?" And Jordan has a big puff on his cigar and he goes, "Whatever makes you feel uncomfortable." And that is my Michael Jordan story.
Oh my God.
Well, we finished on the 18th.
That is brilliant.
Michael Jordan beat me, actually. But there we go.
How much did you lose? Can you remember?
I only know this because I did that story on Twitter 3 or 4 years ago. And Michael King called me, Queenie called me, and he said I've had the Times on, and they want to talk to me about that day we had at Sunningdale. He said, but I wanted to check with you it's okay first. And I said, of course it's okay. It was great. He said, is it okay if I tell them about what happened the following day? And I went, oh right. And I didn't know. He went, yes. He said, and let's just say I fleeced him for a few thousand.
3,000, did he?
I went, oh, well done you. He said, yes. He said, but is it okay if I tell the story? I said, yeah, of course. I don't think that's a problem. He said, yeah. He said, at the end of the game, he said, we were all there and we were having a few drinks. And he said, we'd had these bets. And he said, and then they were preparing to leave. And he said, and I thought, do I say anything or do I not? And he said, I went, well, what did you say? He said, well, I said to him, Mr. Jordan, he said, in this country, when we play for money, we do tend to pay our debt. He said he went to the car and he said his driver brought over £2,000 or something and paid it.
way.
Absolutely sensational. Classic
God.
Queenie for those that don't, I know a few people will know him. He's an absolute legend.
We know what happened with me and Razor when we came to blows on the pitch, but then afterwards it's like...
No, tell us what happened, Alan. Tell us what happened with you and Razor.
Well, we were still, decent, good friends that used to live near each other down in Southampton, and when he was at Liverpool and I played in Blackburn. And then we played Liverpool-Blackburn at Ewood Park, and there was, there's a usual banter going on, and this is going to happen. And honestly, it was we came with a crunch and tackle. He tried to do me, he actually stood on me. So we both got up and sort of grabbed each other by the throat and the top, and I'm thinking, oh my God, what's going on here? But then we shook hands afterwards and had a pint in the players' lounge.
When you have a little scuffle like that with someone that you know, is there a moment where you're both in each other's faces where you think, what the fuck am I doing here? And you're a bit cringe or awkward? Or...
And honestly, I've got him by the scruff of the neck, and I'm thinking, I'm godparent to one of his kids here. I'm trying to...
Brilliant.
It's like, oh, God, yeah. But then, as I said, I had a pint afterwards. It was soon forgotten.
You had any of those, Micah?
No, actually, I was a lover, not a fighter, Honestly, it takes me a while to go. Big Meats is a lover, everyone knows that. But I did play against Daniel Sturridge when he was I was at Villa and he was at Liverpool. And we was together in the academy at Man City, and he was the main player back then. But every time he used to play against me, I used to just go hard and crunch him early doors. But he was always intelligent, so he always used to peel off into little spaces where I wouldn't want to go. And he never used to get past me. I used to foul him anyway if he did get past me. And then fast forward a couple of years, I'm texting him the night before. We're at Villa, we're at Anfield, and I'm going to smash you tomorrow. Absolutely destroy you. I've got your number. I was your boss in the academy. I was the captain. You bow to me. So tomorrow, let's see. Honest to God, the first time he got the ball, he absolutely twisted me. And I was like, this is not the same Daniel Sturridge I remember from the academy. He was just a different level. He scored in that goal. And you know what? He didn't speak to... So I'm trying to speak to him throughout the game thinking, horrible. Get in his head. He wouldn't speak to me. And then as soon as he scored or assisted in the game, he just looked at me and just laughed. And then I texted him after and said, don't speak to me for a couple of days. Audible.
I had one when I went to Barcelona. We hadn't been there just 2 or 3 months or something. And I was with my then wife, Michelle, and we were looking for houses, and we'd found a little villa that we were going to rent. But we needed to equip it with furniture, so we went to a furniture store,
and we were looking for 2 small bedside tables. So by that stage we'd been having lots of lessons, but we weren't fluent, but we could kind of get by, both of us. And we went in, and the woman said, "What you looking for?" And I said, "Una mesita con dos cojones." Now, that means a table with 2 drawers. But I messed up. I said cojones instead of cajones. So cojones. So basically, I asked for 2 bedside table with bollocks. So there's a very slight difference between drawers, which is cajones, and balls that are cojones. And the woman burst out laughing, and then I twigged what I'd done.
I remember telling Tino Asprey at Newcastle a week early, the clocks went forward. So he come in for training an hour late, and we're all on the training ground training, and Tino comes stomping in. Sheer a bastard! Because I told him the night before the clocks went forward.
Outrageous behaviour.
Yeah, I've got a bit of a bad story, to be honest.
Go on.
So I went to Fiorentina the last day of the transfer window, and obviously I don't speak Italian. I've got C and yes, basically.
No parlo italiano.
And like absolute idiot that I am, I spoke to Balotelli to say, what should I say when I'm greeting someone?
You asked Balotelli.
Because he's normally good with And then I go and meet the manager, Montella. I go up to him, I shake his hand and say, "Testa di cazzo."
Oh, you fool.
And I think it means you fucking dickhead.